Hi students, we have seen these proofs or evidences of evolution in this lesson. We are starting today the Darwin's theory of natural selection. Darwin was the first person to propose the theory of evolution. Charles Darwin had collected innumerable specimens of plants and animals, and depending upon the observation of those specimens, he published the theory of natural selection, which preaches the survival of the fittest. He traveled all over the world and he selected some species and samples he collected. He went back to England and he wrote his famous book Origin of Species, in which he mentions some theory which we are going to see now. For this purpose, Darwin had published a book titled Origin of Species. While explaining the concept, from here you can start a bracket, which is the answer of Darwin's theory. Darwin had published the book titled Origin of Species. While explaining the concept, Darwin says that from here, all the organisms reproduce prolifically ample, so that they can survive. All the organisms compete with each other in life-threatening manner. In a habitat, each organism tries to survive better than the other organism. That is called competition. In this competition, only those organisms sustain which show modification essential for winning the competition. For lakhs of years, the animals should improve themselves to sustain in that particular race. They have to change their way of living. However, besides this, natural selection also plays important role, because nature selects only those organisms which are fit to live and rest are perished. Nature allows only those species which are fittest to survive. This is called natural selection. A sustaining and selected organism can perform reproduction and thereby give rise to new species with their own specific characters. This is Darwin's principle. What he says, suppose there are some animals in a limited area, they will compete with each other as well as themselves to produce improved quality organisms. The next generation must be fitter, better than them. If it is not, it will be perished. Perished means vanish. Darwin's theory of natural selection was widely accepted for long duration. Here your answer completes. Short note on Darwin's theory. Now the next question is, some people took objections on Darwin's theory. So question is, what are the objections raised against Darwin's theory? What are the objections raised against Darwin's theory? However, some objections were raised against the theory. The main are: 1. Natural selection is not the only factor responsible for evolution. Darwin could not explain natural selection is only factor responsible for evolution. 2. Darwin did not mention any explanation about useful and useless modifications. Darwin said modification takes place, but why he could not explain. Third is there is no explanation about slow changes and abrupt changes. There are some changes taken place in organisms very rapidly and some changes have taken very slowly. What is the reason? Darwin could not explain. Irrespective of all these objections, Darwin's work on evolution has been a milestone. So Darwin's work is a very important work in the theory of evolution. Now the next topic is Lamarckism. After theory of Darwin, Lamarck, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, proposed that morphological changes occurring in living organisms are responsible for evolution. Morphological changes occurring in living organisms are responsible for the evolution. And reason behind those morphological changes is activities or laziness of the organism. He said, as per the habits of the organism, some organs will vanish and some organs will develop. This is proposed by Lamarckism. Lamarck. What he said, habits of animal or organism creates some organism or this is responsible to disappear some parts of the organism. So once again I am reading. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck proposed that morphological changes occurring in living organisms are responsible for evolution, and the reason behind those morphological changes is activities or laziness of that organism. Whether it is active or not active, depending on this, the evolution takes place. He called this concept as a principle of use or disuse of organs. Use or disuse of organs. We are in the question, what is Lamarckism? What is Lamarckism? Point 1 complete. Further he said that the neck of, he gave some examples. Further he said that the neck of giraffe has become too long due to browsing of leaves on tall plants by extending their neck for several generations. He said giraffe lives in such an area where the leaves of the plants are at height. So first generation, second generation, so many generations, thousands of lakhs of generations after, giraffe got its long neck because it has to search and eat the leaves of a plant which have too much height. So he related the evolution with the habits of the animals. So he gave first giraffe's neck, example of giraffe's neck. Similarly, shoulders of ironsmith have become very strong due to frequent hammering movements. Blacksmith, he hammers the iron, so his shoulders have become very strong because of his continuous work. Wings of the bird like ostrich and emu have become weak due to no use. These birds are ostrich and emu. They are not using the wings for flying, so their wings have vanished or they are weak. Legs of the birds like swan and duck have become useful for swimming due to living in water. You might have seen the duck's legs are like this. They are called webbed feet. Webbed feet are useful for swimming. Snakes have lost their legs by modification in their body for burrowing habit. Snakes lives in the holes in the soil, so they have lost their legs because of this habit. So Lamarck said that the organs of organisms are developed or vanished due to their habits, and this character went on for generation after generation. Next sentence he says, all these examples are types of acquired characters and are transferred from one generation to another generation. He said these are acquired transformations, acquired characteristics. Because of this, the things pass to next generation. The original neck of giraffe was not so long, he said. So, why today giraffe has got long neck? Because they are living in such a place where the leaves of the trees are at very high level. So, first giraffe were having neck was shorter, but today giraffes have neck very long one. You might have seen the pictures of giraffe. This is because of habits. The organs of organism changes. This was the theory in one line given by Lamarckism. Lamarck. This is called the theory of inheritance of acquired characters or Lamarckism. This is called the theory of inheritance of acquired characteristics. Means you need something, the next generation will acquire it. You need something, the next generation will acquire it. Like giraffe has got long neck, snakes lost their feet. Like this, they are acquired the organs or lost the organs because they needed like that. They needed like that. This is called Lamarckism, a theory of Lamarck. Or simply, the word is Lamarckism. Development of organs due to specific activities or their degeneration due to no use at all was widely accepted, but transfer of those characters from generation to generation was rejected. So in the discussion, people said half theory was accepted. Development of organs due to specific activities or their degeneration due to no use at all was accepted. But certain animals lose their things for that generation. How it has transferred to next generation? This Lamarck was not able to explain, and that part was rejected. Because it had been verified many times that modifications brought in us are not transferred to next generation, and thereby Lamarck's theory was disproved. Give reason. Here the question is of the give reason. Lamarck's theory was disapproved. I will explain this. Suppose you are not using your brain. So up to you, the brain will become idle and you will become lazy. You will become a slow person. But why that character goes to next generation? This was the main question Lamarck was not able to answer. So his half theory, कि particular organism can lose its organ because of using or not using, but why it is transferring to next generation, this he could not explain. The half theory was disapproved and the Lamarckism was disapproved. The give reason is Lamarck's theory was disapproved. So why then the next generation improves or deproves? Because of some characters. That is, next generation will have some improved qualities, or they may not have some improved qualities. Why this is happening? The last line gives us the idea, page number 8. The living organism can transfer the characters which it has acquired to next generation. No doubt, the acquired characters are passed to the next generation, but not because of habits, but it is because of ancestry. This is called ancestry. Once again I am reading. The living organism can transfer the characters which it acquired to next generation. This is called ancestry of acquired characteristics. Means what characters I am acquiring, I will transfer to my next generation. This is called ancestry. Lamarckism was not able to mint this word, but science has got the new term ancestry. The acquired characteristics of one generation are passed to another generation because of property of ancestry.